Cherokee Diaspora Stories is an ongoing community-engaged research project in partnership with the Cherokees of Northern Central Valley, a nonprofit community organization chartered by the Cherokee Nation and serving Cherokee people living in the Sacramento Valley. The project is a multimedia collection of personal, family, and community stories that document and explore the diverse Cherokee diaspora that now resides on Nisenan, Miwok, Patwin, and other native lands in what is now called California. CO, Jonathan Radocay Dagwadoa, Jijalagi, Nagu Jigi Sacramento Ginela, Asethno, Ventura County, Adela, Juhlai, Dige. My name is Jonathan Radocay, and I'm a citizen of Cherokee Nation. I currently live on Nisenan lands in what is now known as Sacramento, but I was raised on Chumash lands in what is now Ventura County, California. I'm a PhD candidate in English with a designated emphasis in Native American Studies at UC Davis. I am also a council member of the Cherokees of Northern Central Valley, also known as CNCV, which is my community partner for this project. CNCV is part of a larger network of satellite community organizations that serve the Cherokee Nation's at-large citizens. CNCV organizes membership meetings, hosts speakers and representatives from the Cherokee Nation, and serves as an important point of contact for many Cherokee peoples living outside of the Cherokee Nation reservation and other Cherokee homelands and political territories. Through its going back to the 1990s, CNCV as an organization was officially chartered in the early 2000s, but it emerged out of a much longer history of Cherokee presence in what is now known as California. Our presence dates back at the very latest to the mid-19th century, but probably much earlier, as Cherokee people have always traveled abroad among other native nations since time immemorial. In California, Cherokees entered a dynamic landscape of California Indian peoples and joined a part of a Pacific world that increasingly included migrant diasporas and settlers from Mexico, Chile, Hawaii, China, and other places around the Pacific Rim. Because of a variety of federal government policies during the 20th century, including the allotment of the Cherokee Nation in Indian Territory, the termination of tribal governments, and relocation policies, the population of Cherokee people living in California grew exponentially during the first half of the 20th century. Today, California is home to the largest number of Cherokee Nation citizens outside of Oklahoma, and over 2,500 citizens live within a 50-mile radius of Sacramento.
I began this project because I wanted to help my local community not only tell its own diaspora story through a variety of different expressive forms and narratives, but also develop community programming engagement during a pandemic that has prevented many of us from gathering together and supporting each other.
For this project, I have worked primarily with 3 Cherokee Nation citizens in my community: Mike Webb, Daphne Thompson, and Delilah Davis Dawson. The original idea was to piece together our contributions into a single storytelling platform using Arcgis story maps, a web-based program that allows users to easily combine many different types of media, including maps, images, video, audio, and text, to tell a story. This platform would enable us to work in a variety of different expressive forms that explore the connected timelines and geographies of our diaspora. We would then have the opportunity to share our separate contributions at a CNCV event, either virtually or in person. Finally, the project would be accessible as a digital exhibit on CNCV's website.
But, as with best laid plans, the project has changed over the course of the summer and into the fall. The ongoing pandemic continues to impact the families of project collaborators as it extended the time frame of the project. Moreover, my role on CNCV's council sometimes required that I prioritize other kinds of work that I do for my community. So this project is ongoing, and I continue to work with the project's collaborators. Instead of piecing together all of our contributions into a single platform, I realized it would work better to give each collaborator's story its own space. Separately, these stories could be better shared on CNCV's existing platforms, such as our newsletter and Facebook page, and incorporated into our calendar of events over time, or more easily. Collaborating with CNCV's council, I was able to build an accessible website for organization, which continues to be used for outreach efforts.
I've worked extensively with Cherokee Honored Elder and longtime CNCV Council member Mike Webb on a couple of different stories. First is a family story which he has titled The Cherokee Half Circle. This story is an ongoing collaboration that explores the relationship between the two halves of his identity, the Oklahoma Cherokee identity from his mother's side and the Mexican identity from his father's side. The other story involves a significant and ongoing community project that Mike has organized with CNCV over the last few years. CNCV located and has maintained the grave site of John Roland Ridge's family on Nisenan lands in Grass Valley, California. Roland Ridge was an early Cherokee settler, author, and important figure in the diaspora during the mid-19th century. The Ridge family also played an important role in the forced removal of Cherokee peoples from our original homelands, what is now called the southeastern United States, during the early 19th century. I am helping Mike develop a story map on the discovery, cleanup, and restoration of this Cherokee gravesite. Daphne Thompson is a Cherokee artist in our community and is creating a ledger art out of her family's Dawes enrollment cards and allotment plat maps. These materials are a legacy of the so-called allotment era, which saw the privatization of native lands and termination of tribal governments during the early 20th century. To administer allotment, the Dawes Commission used these materials to count Cherokee tribal citizens to assign individual allotments of land. The allotment process ultimately eroded native land bases and separated communities as native allotments were transferred, often fraudulently, into non-native hands. Many Cherokees, including Daphne's family and my own, point to allotment as the beginning of the California diaspora we have today. Daphne is reclaiming these Dawes Commission materials and creating a visualization of survival and resilience by drawing portraits of her Cherokee family over her family's enrollment cards and plat maps. Her family, like many Cherokee families, traveled all over the western United States as fruit pickers before ending up in California. And finally, I'm in the beginning stages of collaborating with Delilah Davis Dawson and her family on their story, which will round out the wide range of Cherokee Diaspora stories that are part of our local Cherokee community. We're really looking forward to working with her and her family going forward.
As you may have realized, I am at different stages of collaboration with all of my participants. One of the most important lessons I have learned working on this community-engaged research project and about public scholarship in general is that relationship building takes time. Often activities that seem unrelated to the project, such as spending time catching up, sharing a meal together, and helping with other community needs, are just as important as working on research or storytelling together. And all of that takes time, beyond the horizon of a single summer. The Mellon Public Scholars Program has allowed me to develop the groundwork for my ongoing work with CNCV and our community members. And the work started during the summer will continue into the winter and into 2022. Mike Webb continues to organize restoration of the Ridge family gravesite. Working with Marble City Activity Organization, our sister Cherokee community organization in Marble City, Cherokee Nation, Mike has sourced marble headstones from a quarry located in neighboring Choctaw Nation for the unmarked graves of 2 Ridge family members. These will soon be installed, and the unveiling will happen sometime in early 2022. Mike's work exemplifies that cemetery stewardship remains an important Cherokee practice, and historically grounds CNCV to a longer history of the Cherokee Nation that stretches back to removal and beyond. Once completed, Daphne's artwork will be featured in CNCV's newsletter, and she will have the opportunity to present at an upcoming membership meeting, as will all contributors to the project. Moreover, this project has inspired a lot of community interest to continue collecting diaspora stories and to showcase them in our newsletter as a regular column. As it continues to unfold and take shape, this project presents a complex, multi-ethnic, and transnational story of a Cherokee diaspora that maintains an enduring connection to the Cherokee Nation and other Cherokee communities in our homelands and political territories. I am proud to belong to and work with a vibrant community of Cherokee people, and I'm grateful for their continuing support. Really, it wouldn't be possible without them. And I also wanted to thank the Davis Humanities Institute, Dr. Stephanie Maroney, Professor Erica Cole-Arenas, Professor Beth Rose Middleton Manning, and my entire cohort of other Mellon Public Scholars for helping me develop the project. Thank you for watching and for your interest in my project.